Hi. I would hope that we would all agree that standards are important in life. Standards are a mutual set of values that we all abide by, and they are regulated in law. So, by standards, you can't behave anyhow, and you know, you can't dress anyhow either. So, having said that, within the values of standards is dress code. Dressing is a means of communication. For example, if you were to look at a homeless person, you would know by his appearance that he's homeless. His disheveled look is the indicator of part of what his circumstances are and what he's going through in life. You can say the same of doctors, lawyers, it gives you a clue, it forms a first impression. There's no human being on earth that would look at another human being and not form an immediate impression. That impression, of course, is subject to change based on you getting to know the person. But having said that, we agree that standards are important, I hope, and appearance to a certain degree is important. So I want to challenge the female standard of dressing that exists today. A lot of women might not be happy with what I'm going to say, but it needs to be said. And I'm less concerned about people being offended. I'm more concerned about my responsibility to speak the truth as I see it. So, looking at the standard of dressing that is popularized today, Nicki Minaj, what's her name now? Cardi B, Meg the Stallion. There's so many of them. Women exposing their flesh is accepted today, and I think we need to check that standard. So, if we consider a prostitute, everything about a prostitute, down to her mannerism, most especially her dressing, is designed to appeal to sexual, desire. It's part of their trade. So they have to dress scantily and wear very little clothing. Hold on a second. Apologies. Yeah, so where was I? Looking at the way a prostitute promotes herself, she does that for a certain reason, and we see that as the standard of today. I think we should be worried about that. A woman can be sexy and alluring without needing to expose herself, overly expose herself. In some cases, less is a lot more. And I think this is one of those cases. And the problem is that, these women do these things feeling that they are, enacting out their female empowerment, their right to dress as they please. And but I want to call women to more responsibility than that, just a little bit more responsibility, because what we do is we say to the men, we can dress however we want. We don't want you to do anything about it. You must just look and not do anything unless we want you to do something about it. And that is setting a double standard. So when a woman dresses in an overly provocative manner and then expects that a man would not respond in kind, is setting a double standard, because we all know that men experience hard-ons, and there are numerous research. If you go and look for yourself, there are numerous research that actually verify that men cannot control, a hard on. It's an involuntary reflex reaction. It's a biological reaction. They can't help themselves. Why? Because their makeup is designed to be attracted to the female body type. Men are visually excited by sexual imagery, and women's bodies are curvaceous. They're designed to be alluring. So bearing in mind that they are unable to hold back their responses. If they're in public and they see a woman wearing next to nothing, her bottom is hanging out, her chest is hanging out, you can't blame the guy for reacting to it. That's not to say that he can go and put hands on her, or even look at her too long or anything like that, but within himself he will be having a physical reaction to what he's seeing. He can't actually help it, and women need to understand this. And in understanding this, then we need to be a little bit more responsible with the way that we clothe ourselves. As I've said, a woman can be sexy and hot without needing to show tits and arts all over the place. It's just sending the wrong message. Going back to what I was saying about clothing being a form of communication, a man sees you scantily clad, his brain goes into sex mode. And if you enter into a relationship with a man on that basis, then you've set the standard to which he is going to value you. That's where he's going to place his value, because when women are liberal sexually, they think that they are empowering themselves, and no, they're not. What they are in a sense doing is selling themselves short. And the reason I say that is there are many women that are in relationships, years down the road, 2, 3, 5, 10 years. The man hasn't made a proposal or anything. He's just quite happy, settled with you there. And, you have to ask yourself why. And where you met him, you began having sex with him, you moved in with him, you started affording him all the privileges of a wife without him having had to work to acquire that privilege. What we women have, the skills that we have, are very, very valuable. Not just our femininity. Engage a man on your skill set, engage him on your interests, things that you like doing, engage him on anything away from sex. Don't allow sex to be the primary platform on which you engage in a relationship. If you want a long lasting, meaningful relationship, we need to challenge these standards. I know there's a lot of women that are not going to agree with me, and that's perfectly fine, but know that you are setting a double standard. Period. We all know that when we dress sexily, men get excited. You know exactly what you're doing. So you need to take a little bit more accountability, for a lot of the shit that goes on, as a consequence. You expose yourself to a man in that way. Next thing you know, you're pregnant. Next thing you know, you're having an abortion, or you're having a baby by yourself. You knew all of these things going in. So you can't now cry wolf afterwards. So just a thought for my sisters. We are queens. We need to understand what it means to be a queen. A queen attains to a certain standard. She attains to a certain standard. There's certain things that she will not accept, and in saying that, it has to start with herself. You cannot expect standards from others that you are not able to set within yourself. You have to set the standard first. It's not everything that we see that we must follow. A lot of these stars, our governments, our media, these organizations are failing in setting the correct standards for us. And, you know, we've gotten into a whole heap of trouble now, and everybody's just, you know, like, but let's start not just talking about the problem. We're doing a lot of talking. There's a lot of people doing a lot of talking, myself included. But let's also try doing something about it, you know. Challenge a man. Let a man work for you. Stop just giving away free biscuits. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. Make a man work for you. Let him value you, you know, because it's only when you have had to work for something you will cherish it and you will want to look after it well. You know, if you've just acquired it casually, then that's exactly how you'll treat it, casually. So stay blessed, y'all. Peace out.